If there was ever a film that you could bring up to argue that superhero movie fatigue is real, this is it. Bloodshot, more like blood clot. Bloodshot feels less like a film and more like a money laundering scheme. And it has the same bad aesthetic as some other superhero movies that were released into the mid to late 2000s, like The Spirit or Ghost Rider. And even if it was released then, it would feel just as old and uninspired as it does today. Oh, and the script, if you can call it that, just feels like you programmed an AI system just to crap out a generic superhero script. But let's get to the plot. So the plot is, after he and his wife are murdered, Marine Ray Garrison is resurrected by a team of scientists. Enhanced with nanotechnology, he becomes a superhero biotech killing machine, Bloodshot. As Ray trains with fellow super soldiers, he cannot recall anything from his former life. But when his memories flood back, and he remembers the man that killed both him and his wife, he breaks out of the facility to get revenge, only to discover that there's more to the conspiracy than he thought. And Bloodshot is based on a comic book that was released in 1992 by Valiant Comics. And in 2018, he actually made his live-action debut in Ninjak vs. the Valiant Universe, played by Jason David Frank, who quite frankly, please get me out of here, Cuomo, call off the quarantine, who quite frankly played him better than Vin Diesel. But to this Bloodshot movie, I will give Vin Diesel credit because there's a couple of scenes that seems like that he's actually acting. You know, the thing that he's supposed to do. For the rest of the film, he's just being regular old Vin Diesel, and he's actually acting like his character in the Fast and Furious movie. Heck, he even dresses like him. And yes, I'm fully aware Vin Diesel practically acts and plays the same character in every movie. At no point in the movie does he even bother dressing like Bloodshot, but you know who did? The Green Ranger. Also, at 50 years old, Vin's old. It makes sense for him to be in the Fast and Furious and Riddick franchises because he's been there since the beginning. And clearly Sony is trying to start a new character franchise, but why use a guy who's clearly seen better days? And in this movie, his age really shows. The very first scene in the film shows him celebrating a military victory, being surrounded by guys who are in their 20s or early 30s. Meanwhile, Vin to me sticks out like the "how do you do fellow kids" meme. Oh, and that twist that I said that was in the plot, I'm just gonna tell you right now so I can save you some money, because I don't want you to see this. The twist is that the organization that essentially brought him back from the dead is using him as an assassin to kill basically everyone who wronged our main villain, played by Guy Pearce, who in the beginning is portrayed as a good guy. And the twist comes within the first 30 minutes of the movie, so after that I just had no interest. The movie thinks it's so smart by commenting on how generic and tropey the backstory they program in his head is, but the movie in and of itself is generic as hell. Nothing fun or unique or exciting happens. It's just boring and paint by numbers, and the ending literally feels like an ending to a Fast and Furious movie. They should have put this movie into the hands of people who actually cared or had the drive to make a decent film. Like David F. Sandberg was able to take a third-rate superhero and put him in probably one of the best debut comic movies I've seen in the last decade. Oh wait, but this is Sony, so everything I'm saying is just pointless. There are some good performances in the movie by the supporting cast to make this film seem like it has a pulse, while the corpse of Vin Diesel's acting shambles about. Guy Pearce is good as well, and it's clever how they casted him in a movie about a person with amnesia, even though he wasn't even the film's first choice. The score of the movie is even bland, the special effects are okay, and the fight scenes really don't take advantage of how Vin's character is essentially invincible. And I just felt like this movie was more of a Vin Diesel movie than a superhero movie, and therefore not even a Bloodshot movie. I give this film 1 out of 5 stars. But switching gears, a lot of people have been hit hard by the coronavirus. So I've decided to put a bunch of links to a bunch of different charities and GoFundMes and everything like that. If you can donate, please do. But until then, I will be catching up on the live action Disney movies because I will be watching Disney's The Tiger King.